In this lesson, we are going to explore problem solving even more. You may be wondering why problem solving is such a main focus in a class called Exploring Computer Science, and that's because a lot of computer science is just problem solving. That's also a skill that you're going to need literally every single day. So whenever you graduate high school, whatever it is you decide to do after, you're going to have to be able to solve problems. And so this is a life skill that's going to help you grow to become a productive member of society, and it's just going to help make your life easier. And so we're just going to practice problem solving. So for your warm-up, I want you to think of the silliest problem, the silliest problem that the problem solving process could help with, okay? And then I want you to think about each step of the problem solving process. Define, prepare, try, and reflect. And I want you to be able to tell which part of solving your problem would go to which part of the problem solving process. So I'm going to give you a minute on the timer. And here you go. You're going to write this in your journal. So keep that in mind. Go ahead and put it in your journal. All right. So if you didn't finish the journal, you can pause the video here so that way you can get a little bit more time to finish it. But some of, what is a silly problem that the problem solving process could help solve? An example I gave you in the last lesson was finding something that's lost. Another problem could be making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Another problem could be how to get a lot of whipped cream into a balloon for you to throw at somebody, but also for it to pop when it hits that person. That might be a little tricky. And so if you think about the problem-solving process, it's important to be able to think about how best to use that process because there's such a wide variety of problems and strategies that we can use the problem-solving process on. And so what we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to look at some different types of problems and talk about what makes them different and reflect on how the problem-solving process helped us solve them. So our question of the day is, how can we apply the problem-solving process to many different kinds of problems? What you're going to need to do at this point is download the activity guide and pull that up. You're also going to need to click on the link in the assignment post to get Tangrams. So Tangrams are a little activity. It's usually like different shapes. Okay, Tangrams are different shapes that you can use to make images. Okay, I want you to, you can either do this with a partner or by yourself, but click on the link. Okay, and this is my example for this first one. All right. So in your activity guide, you need to try to use the Tangrams to recreate these animals. And what you can do is, I have the first one done already. Okay, you can copy that if you want, or you can just skip it. After you make the animal with the Tangram pieces, you're going to take a screenshot of it, and then you're going to submit that along with this activity guide. Okay, so let's say you get, so these pieces, I don't know how you'll be able to, how it will be to manipulate them on your iPad. There's this button down here that resets all of the pieces, and whenever you pick them up with the mouse, like, they act like there's gravity involved, and so you'll just have to play around with that. So I want you to try to make those pieces with that, with these as your guide. Okay, so pause the video here so that you can do that. Now, once you are done, I want you to head to the last page of the activity guide and fill in the row there for the Tangrams in the table. So the last page, and put in Tangrams right here. How would you define the problem? How did you prepare to solve this problem? What did you do to try to solve the problem? And looking back on your process, what would you change or do differently? So, the next part I want you to do is go back up. You did that one. Okay, the perfect pet. So for this part of the activity guide, a group of people are trying to decide what pet will best fit their needs and lifestyle. Try to match up the pets with the person who will work best with this pet, so that each person is matched with exactly one pet. So you have a picture of the pet, you have the type of pet, and then you have some information about the pet. So, for example, a cat is furry, noisy, and stays inside. I'm not sure how a cat would be noisy, but, whatever. I guess compared to a fish, it would be. Okay, so given these are your people right here. These are the constraints. And so you have to choose a pet for them. And so you can just type in their answer. So Aisha wants a pet with fur. So that is automatically going to cross out that one and cross out that one. So there's still a lot more to choose for Aisha. And some of the people are going to have more constraints than others. So you may want to just make a note, maybe on paper, Aisha does not want a fish or an iguana, and then maybe come back. And this one will be a lot of fun. And so pause the video here. Well, once you're done with this part, okay, scroll back down to the last page and then fill out your problem solving process for the perfect pet. Okay, pause the video here so that you can do that. That one's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, the next that we're going to look at is we are going to plan a pet adoption event. You and your friends will be planning an adoption event for animals in shelters. You have the entire school day to make it happen, and how you plan it is up to you. Plan the best adoption event that you can. So the first thing you need to do is develop your goals. Talk with a partner or a neighbor or somebody for a few minutes. What are the most important things about a pet adoption event? What pets will be up for adoption? You can kind of make that up. Okay. How will people know about this event? Where will it be held? Write down the goals you'll use to decide what makes a good plan. So you're going to fill this out. Okay, pause the video here so you can do that. So now that you've got your plan, all of your goals completed in this table, every member of your group should separately start creating a plan on how the event will work. Okay, well, you are the person in your group creating a plan on how the event will work. So you should select how you will let people know about it and where you will hold it at. Like, where is this going to happen? Use the space below to explain what you should do to get ready for the event and what the event will look like. Okay, so how are you going to get ready for the event? This is where you're going to incorporate some of your goals. What does this event look like? Okay, so if you need to do a little bit of research on planning an event or pet adoption events, you can do that. Okay, so pause the video here. If you need to do research, do that right now. If you don't and you just need to go ahead and fill this out for make a plan, pause the video so you can do it. So now that you've got a plan, you need to share your plan and get feedback. Okay, so share the layout you developed with someone around you or someone at home and explain why you think it is the best possible plan given the goals that you chose. So you'll have to share your goals with them also. Afterwards, you can record their feedback and their reactions to your plan in this space right here. Okay, is there anything that needs to change? How could your plan improve? Did you get some feedback about what different ways to advertise for your event? That's a possible improvement. So you'll just put any feedback that you got from this person, so that way you know how you can improve your event. Pause the video here so that way you can complete this section. Improve and finalize. So using the feedback from whoever it is that you talk to, update your plan. In the space below, write down the new ideas that you decided on, because you're not exactly in a group, so you can kind of make your own decisions. What is this going to look like now? Remember, yes, you did a getting ready and what it looks like. You did that up here, but then you got feedback and you got some better ideas from people, and now you have to make changes. And so that's where the improve and finalize is going to come from, okay? The getting ready, what it looks like. How has that changed? Write down your new plan. Okay, pause the video here so you can do that. Once you're done, head to the last page, which is right here. Okay, plan an adoption event. Define, prepare, try, reflect. What did those steps look like for the adoption event planning? Okay. And now what I want you to do, well, pause the video so you can finish that table. So you finish the table, it should be complete. For each step of the problem-solving process, write one sentence explaining its purpose. Why is it included in the problem-solving process? Okay? And then defining problems with questions. Before starting to solve a problem, it's important that you have defined it well. What questions or strategies can you use to better define or understand a problem? I want you to put those answers down here. Okay, that's going to be pretty important. So you're doing that for your activity, those 3 things. And whenever you get done, you should be able to answer these questions, okay? For each step in the problem-solving process, what is its purpose and why is it included? And that's what you just did on the last page of your activity guide. So for our wrap-up, we saw today that without a well-defined problem, the rest of the problem-solving process is difficult to follow. What are some questions or strategies we can use to help us better understand and define problems before we try to solve them? All right, so pause the video here so you can answer that in your journal. And then I also want you to think about how this activity helps you answer this question: how can we apply the problem-solving process to many different kinds of problems? And I bet you can probably put that in your journal also. So that's the warm-up, that's the wrap-up. You could definitely just add it at the bottom. It doesn't really matter. And that's it for this lesson.